Hello, welcome to Postcards 5. I've just picked out some more cards from my collection at random, and I just thought I'd go through them. Now, this card is slightly old-fashioned in composition, not only because it shows things like the Tudor Museum, Tudor House anyway. This is the Maritime Quarter of Southampton. A city that has suffered very badly over the years with bombing and so forth, as so many ports did right down to Plymouth. Being a Hampshire man, I've always stuck up for that which I knew best and which was closest to me. Here we have the city walls. I'll just read you what it says. The city walls, the medieval merchant's house, Westgate Maritime Museum, and SS Shield Hall. Well, this is obviously the boat, isn't it? There we are. Probably if my father was here, he'd say it's not a boat, it's a ship. Okay, it's a ship. Well, he was in the Navy, so I think that might afford him some insights. But as I say, a composition card like this, I bought this only about 10 years ago, already looks dated to me. Whether it would have looked like that then, it's a salmon card. That's the manufacturer, the printer. Here we have something straight out of history. Oh, I can't seem to see it through my own portrait. This is Marriage à la mode, I'm told. It's called Detail. In other words, it's a blown up bit of it. The Marriage Settlement by William Hogarth, and it's sold to support the National Gallery. Hogarth was one of these sort of illustrators, but he was a naughty boy in as much that he flew in the face of PC. He played with fire if he could. And we have much to thank him for in terms of political commentary and reflecting very much the age in which he lived. Here's a lovely little card. It's French. The hat completely engulfs her head. On the back, this is sent to Miss Gertie Cantello, 59 Edward Road, Penge, London, SE. I won't read out what it says because it's only 4 words and 3 of them are obscured. But there we are. This is from about 100 years ago, slightly more. At one time, I could have told you exactly when that stamp was issued. Well, no, I can't. But what I can tell you is this is Gertie at Matlock. Whoever Gertie was, I don't know. I don't suppose it was Gertrude Stein. The shoes are very interesting. I think if she attempted to plump down the street, she'd end up maybe face down. I don't know. She'd fall over. But there you are. It has a certain humour, and it is, I would like to think, characteristic of what women wore on occasion, girls and women. Now, here we have the first 2 cards featuring a great hero of mine. It looks like he's got an easel on pram wheels, and that's exactly, I think, what he has got. This is my old mate, Sir Stanley Spencer. Stanley Spencer was one of the top English painters, more or less, of all time. And his speciality was to take a religious story and set it down in his own environment where he was happiest. So he would have the crucifixion or something in Cookham, where he lived near the river. It says Stanley Spencer, R.A., 1891 to 1959, going painting with his pushchair. Printed through the MRM Consulting, Reading, for the Stanley Spencer Gallery, Cookham on Thames, Berkshire. There we are, and there is Stan. I owe it to the late Robert Robinson, whose programme Loose Ends, not Loose Ends, Weekending, that's better. Stanley Spencer was ushered into the presence of Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao. He extended his hand and said, "My name is Stanley Spencer, and as you know, I come from Cookham." That is my favourite quotation because it's so completely stupid. But it's possible that it happened. This is from a stamp. This is a postcard showing a stamp, and this is a Stanley Spencer, Sir Stanley Spencer. And as you can see, this bloke is in some anguish. He has an enormous head, and the geese are troubling him. And he appears to be maybe roped. He's certainly stringed. Could it be Noah escaping from the ark? St. Francis and the birds, it says. I'm not good enough at Bible stories to help you further. Art in the 20th century. Stanley Spencer, yes, we got that. St. Francis and the birds, reproduced from a stamp by Ashted Dastor, which was published in 1993. And this card was printed by the White Dove Press. Well, that sounds perfectly charming. And there it is, but I would have to do some more work. I have got books on Stanley Spencer to look more carefully into exactly what was in Stan's mind at the moment. As things stand, I don't know. The Queen's head, of course, and 33 pence. There we are. Now, this is something entirely different. It's a poem. And I suppose you want me to read it to you, knowing that when I start to read, I get all fumbled. I'm an Indian by birth and a Hindu of religion, now living in Slough as a British citizen, proud of my mother tongue, though used frequently, getting fluent in that of my adopted country. Live in my town, people of different religions and races. Here and there, one sees different faces, like flowers of different colours and fragrance. They play their part to gardens' elegance. People are flowers, faiths and beliefs, their colours. Surely they're a proud part of this garden of ours. And this is written by Siri Ram Sharma, and it's called Living in Slough. And in the back, and doesn't easily show up on camera, many faces from different nationalities. And what they're asking you to do, which I didn't do because otherwise I would have posted the card, is to say how it makes you feel. Does it give you a certain sense of unity, of identity, or does it make you question? All of these are emotions which all of us go through, whether we admit it or not, whether we acknowledge it or no. Anyway, there we are. The poem is called Living in Slough. John Betjeman wrote a poem about Slough, which I will not repeat, but you could look it up by way of contrast. So this is a series of cards. It's a theme, isn't it? With poems on them. Something different. Probably slightly unexpected. This is a beauty, very much of its time. It's not unlike something I showed before, though it wasn't this one. Here we have a carte postale, in other words, a continental printer, and it's part of the Valentine series. And it was published in Scotland. It was printed in Scotland, London, and New York. In other words, that's where they have printing presses. You think you know what it is yet? To quote Sir Rolf Harris, it is a lagoon. Franco-British Exhibition, 1908. So it was probably in Paris, I would think. I'm afraid my knowledge of, even though I've been there a couple of times, once just whisked around as a child, I don't know it very well. This could be one of the many bridges over the Seine. The back is rather splendid as well. Plenty of text, but also plenty of space to particularly address in and to put a stamp on and write a little message. Here we have a card sent to me by, I'm going to have to take my glasses off, Hove Library and the Wall of China are the only structures visible from space. Pornography films made in Hove include Debbie Does Hove, Deep Hove, Behind the Green Hove, and Big Boobs DP Fantasy If. This is becoming X-rated, ladies and gentlemen. Hove is the home of Britain's most expensive tobacconists, Grays and Sons, established in 1906. Crafty Cockney, Dart Supremo, Eric Bristow. What on earth is that supposed to mean? Nobody buys cushions in Hove because in Hove, cushions are free. Due to geographical anomaly, all washing machines in Hove perform an extra spin cycle whether they want to or not. The name Hove is derived from an old Anglo-Saxon word meaning earthly paradise. Hove accompanied Diane Keaton to the Oscars in 1978. If Hove were a wine gum, it would be yellow one or the green one. A weekend break in sunny Hove can cost a family upwards of £8 million. Well, what do you make of that? It looks fairly diabolical. This is from 1957, and it's from the Pallant House. Do you know where this Pallant House is? It's in Chichester, I think. There we are. Well worth going to. Recommend that. This last one is not a postcard, although it could have been made into one. I keep it because a very lovely looking girl I used to work with, Lisa, gave it to me, and she knew I liked Daleks, and there is a Dalek. She said, when did you last see a Dalek on a road sign? And of course I never have. So that is the way to one of the Doctor Who exhibitions. Whether it's a travelling one, I doubt, in view of the fact it has a permanent road sign. And of course now, but very definitely not then, this is from 22 years ago, Doctor Who, I think, has a permanent base and does filming, a great deal of filming in Cardiff. And if I'm wrong about that, I apologise, but I think that's about right. So there you are, quite a selection. I hope you like them. This has been Postcards 5. I'm James Pratt, and you're not.